Welcome back to the homestead.
The Florida homestead.
So, it's the first day of 2022. Hopefully, everybody's having a great New Year so far, and I hope everybody, gets everything they want and accomplishes everything they want to accomplish in 2022.
We know 2021 was a really rough year for a lot of people and for the world in general. So, we're not going to get into any of that, but we do really hope that this is the year you guys decide to follow your dreams and do what your passions tell you to do. Also, be a responsible adult. We wanted to tell you a little bit about our trip so far and a couple of the issues that we've run into that we'll go into a little deeper on some other videos, and just a little bit of how things are going.
How our trip down went,
yeah.
We've got to do a video for you guys on a lot of the things we're learning, and we've learned a lot on this trip about things we need in the camper, tools we need, and when I say tools, that could be, a knife for the kitchen or just about anything, but that's a whole nother topic. But
and things we don't need.
Yeah,
the stuff that we packed, that we hauled along, and realistically, we don't even use it. So there's been a lot of both. We've bought a few things that were necessities, and we've definitely labeled a few items for removal once we get back home.
Yeah, so it was a pretty uneventful trip. As you guys saw, we got out of the driveway. I think we landed you guys in Virginia. I think was the last place we left off. Traffic was really good all the way down. I think ran into one little bit of traffic. I want to say in Georgia, but might have been South Carolina. Anyways, it was so minimal. It was
weird. It was a Saturday, and we didn't expect it to be a lot of traffic, but it was quite a bit of fairly heavy traffic. We had one day where we had pretty violent winds.
Yeah.
Ryan found that the camper was not super enjoyable to drive in those conditions, but we made it very safely. And probably the first sort of big thing we discovered that was an issue was when we were at one of our campgrounds. We noticed that the Dodge was starting really hard in the morning.
Which is a sign that it's got air in the system, which is a sign it has a fuel leak. So I knew that, and then knew we were going to have to dig for that because we'd done all the work on the Dodge.
Yeah, so we were somewhat aware that that was a problem, but we were sort of keeping an eye on our fuel mileage. It was staying steady. We weren't seeing a lot of big evidence of a problem, and we didn't really have a place to fix it. So we got to Natural Bridge, and I ran into the gift shop to go squish a penny. Surprise, surprise. And Ryan was left out in the truck, and he had the air conditioner on, keeping him nice and cool, and Sprite nice and cool while I ran in and did that. And in the meantime, he decided to take a look under the truck to see if he could see where that fuel leak was coming from.
There's a puddle about yay big around under the truck. It had only been running for about 5 minutes. So I opened the hood and I got looking around, and the feed line to the injection pump has we'll show you later when we do a review on the system in the truck. It has a washer with rubber on it on each side, and there's a banjo bolt, they call it, that goes through all of that, and the bolt is hollow and lets the fuel go into the injection pump. And it was leaking from there. And pretty substantially. I don't want to say it wasn't pouring out, but it was a pretty, decent drip. And we did find, I think we were at a KOA, and we found out just in our line of travel on the way to where we're going that next day was a Cummins of Roanoke. I think it was just north of Roanoke, but it was a Cummins, place. And I called them, and they had the part. So we were able to swing in with the camper, and I bought four of the washers. And the leak was minute enough that minute, any leak is a bad leak, I suppose, but it's on the cold side of the engine, yada, yada, yada. We're already in Virginia. We decided to push it to Florida and keep an eye on it, because we didn't really want to tear this apart in the middle of a Cracker Barrel parking lot and spill diesel fuel everywhere, or potentially need more parts and be stuck in a Cracker Barrel parking lot.
Yeah, so we determined that it was probably safe to go ahead and wait until we got down to our destination here in Florida, where we were at a friend's house, where if our truck was broken down for a few days and we needed to go get parts, we had access to another vehicle.
Yeah.
So we went ahead and did that. We'll bring you along for a little explanation of that repair that's a little more in depth. But that was probably the big event of our trip that was sort of a problem, and fortunately it really wasn't a big deal.
The Dodge did great. I mean, I there was not a hill that we found that we didn't pull at 65 or 70 miles an hour and be able to gain speed, and I don't think we ever saw the pyrometer go over like 1,000 degrees.
Yeah, so it was a big improvement over the last trip. It hauled much better,
handled better. The new power steering pump stuff really in the front alignment.
Definitely a lot of improvements. So that's made it much more manageable to haul the camper where we want to go. So we're excited about that. Really pleased with the modifications. There are a couple more things that we want to do to the truck. So we'll have Ryan do an in-depth video on what all he still thinks we need to get done to the truck and trailer to make them haul in a way that is comfortable, manageable, and safe.
But we spent. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we spent about 2 weeks getting down here to Florida.
Yeah.
About 10 days, I think it was.
Yeah, 10 or 11 days.
You guys, by now, have seen a few of our stops. A lot more of them to come. We hit 3-4 caverns. We hit the Natural Bridge itself.
Congaree National Park.
Cooters, Dukes of Hazzard Museum.
He had a great time with the Dukes of Hazzard Museum. We'll have to do a little addition to that video when we do it that shows you the Christmas ornament that we picked up there. It's pretty awesome.
Then we landed here. There's a lot of cool stuff here. We're in Silver Springs, just east of Ocala, I guess is the way to say that. Pretty cool. We're on the edge of a state forest, which is public land here. Or maybe I'm saying that wrong, but it's open to the public. And we'll take you guys along. There's a really cool old sand road through there that you can go through. Some ponds. Maybe we'll find a gator. We found Gator Joe's bar, which is right beside Ma Barker's bar, which is, if you read back into history, that was the big gang thing and the FBI and the shootout. And we don't want to go into a lot of detail there, but that's something worth researching. But the bars are still active today, even from back then. And just an amazing place to go have a drink and watch the boats on the lake.
Gator Joe's, you get to sit right literally on the dock on the water while you get your food.
Yep.
So that was a beautiful thing to do on a nice mid-70s afternoon. We sat out there for a couple hours with our friends and enjoyed that.
And most probably can tell already, and some of you that know me from not YouTube already can tell, it is that time of year for me where my sinuses have decided I'm going to have a big old sinus infection, and I'm on the uphill side of that. I'm actually feeling really good, but I still sound like crap. But that's kind of usually a yearly thing for me. I neglect my allergies and get into something I shouldn't be into, and yeah, long story short. But yeah, other than that, we're having a great trip. It's about 10 o'clock in the day, and it's already like 75 degrees out. It's supposed to be 83 today. Snow on the ground at home. Everything's covered nice. So yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yep, so we're definitely enjoying being here in the warmth. Sprite is absolutely loving being here in the warmth. She goes outside every day and lies out in the sun for hours and just enjoys not being in the snow. So that's been really great for her. She's so happy to be down here, and we love seeing her happy. We are coming up on her little 16th birthday party here in 10 days.
Yeah, we'll do a video on that for sure.
Yeah, we'll do a little Sweet 16 video for her. We'll bring you along for another video on how we needed to repair our microwave.
Yeah, that's part of the... So the old joke is when you haul your camper down the road, it's like it's going through a earthquake all the time. And actually, we've had really good luck. Knock on wood. Well, there's no wood in this thing. But anyways, we've had really good luck with this thing. We've now put, I don't know, 2,500 miles on it, give or take. But the microwave in this, and we'll show you, that's a whole nother video on repairing it. But it was installed incorrectly. And it broke part of the thing, and it was getting ready to fall down through the cabinet onto the range. So, just one of those things. If you are going to RV around the country, you're going to need to be handy or have a big checkbook. One of the two. Um, these things aren't complicated. None of the systems are complicated. So have yourself some basic tools, and we'll do a video on that again when we talk about the things that we learned and tools we need to bring. Yeah, I don't want to go too far off the tracks on this one, but no, it was a good trip down. I will say that there was one day, um, the road. So for me, I think part of it is that if I know I got to drive for 8 hours, I just kind of tune out and I drive. I'm good with that. I can drive. I can drive. I can drive. But when Sue's like, "Hey, tomorrow's an easy day. We don't drive 3 hours," my mind changes somehow, and that kind of makes me think we should be there already. And the day seems to go on forever for me on those short drive days. So now the joke is, "Hey, we've got 600 miles to go today," and every hour, like, "Hey, we got another 700 miles to go today," and they seem to go much better. But anyways, there was one day where it was a really short drive day, and that just sort of got to me. For whatever reason, the drive just wasn't a lot of fun. And in the day, it was probably 30, 40 mile an hour winds.
Yeah, it was a pretty nasty storm.
It wasn't not fun, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like scary or anything like that. If it wasn't safe, I would have pulled over and stopped somewhere. But it's just, it adds a level of awareness you need to bring to your driving, because not only is your camper pushing around a little bit in the wind, so aren't the trailer trucks and everything else that are going by you. So you're all kind of, the good thing is you're all going sort of the same way with the wind, right? But it's one of those things that you just got to get used to and get comfortable with. And one thing I find a big mistake, a lot of newbies, I will say, and I'm just going to say this to anybody hauling something, not just a camper, but a big mistake I see them always make is they drive in the mirrors all the time. And the worst things get, you just kind of focus out your windshield, look where you want to go. I'm not saying ignore everything around you, but you can just drive yourself right into the woods watching a trailer behind you. I don't know how many people I've seen that start trailer sway by watching their trailer in their mirror. So
keep an eye out, know your escape routes, but keep focused out the front windshield and trust that to a large degree your camper is going to follow where you're pulling it. So if you try and chase its wiggle, you're going to get yourself into a lot of trouble.
And don't be afraid to change your plans. Stop, find a Cracker Barrel, find something fun to do. Hey, like Cooters, we didn't even know that was there until we drove by. So, but I think we've rambled enough. We really enjoy, making these videos for you guys. We're really glad you come along and watch them, and we really hope that you all have a really great 2022 and can go out and have a little fun, lose a little stress, maybe chase a few dreams in life. So
be happy, stay healthy. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.